The Switchbot curtain can take your curtains from manual to smart home powered in about 20 minutes, and we can integrate them easily with Home Assistant. So stick around because we're about to automate some boring stuff. Welcome back to SlackerLabs. My name is Jeff. In this video, we're going to talk about the Switchbot curtain. First off, a huge thanks to Switchbot for sending these devices to me so I could do this video. And as always, other than providing the products, Switchbot had no influence over the content of this video. In fact, it's been so long since Switchbot has sent these devices to me that they've probably given up on me ever doing a video. But better late than never, right? Now, I'm pretty sure that most of you have seen these devices before. If you haven't, then I think you should take a closer look. Switchbot is one of the few examples of smart home companies out there doing smart home tech right. And in this case, Switchbot is bringing automated curtains to your home without making you replace, well, anything. And in my opinion, that is how smart home tech should be done. These devices are designed to leverage the curtain hardware you already have. Second, they're local devices. No cloud service or subscription required to use them. That's because these devices work over Bluetooth. Bluetooth might not be the best smart home protocol, but it does have a limited range. However, if you want the ability to control these devices with your voice through the Amazon Echo or the Google Home, you're going to need the Switchbot Hub. That is, however, not needed for basic control. It's not even technically needed for integrating these devices with Home Assistant. But the Switchbot Hub does add some features that you can't get without it. For this video, Switchbot sent 2 Switchbot curtains, a hub, and 2 solar panels. And we're going to talk about all of it. And if you stick around until the end, I'll show you a way to integrate these devices with Home Assistant or any Echo skill or device using a method that you probably don't know about. But let's talk about the initial setup of these Switchbot devices. These Switchbot curtains are powered by an internal rechargeable battery. But if you get the handy solar panels, you can harness the power of the sun to keep your Switchbot curtains charged. Prior to initial setup though, you're going to want to charge the batteries. To get these set up, you're going to need the Switchbot app on your phone, which can be downloaded from your phone's app store. When I first opened the app on my iPhone, it prompted me for permission to use the Bluetooth, which you're absolutely going to need because these devices communicate over Bluetooth. Next, I created a Switchbot account. Now, I don't think you actually need this, but since I was going to add these devices to my Google Home and my Amazon Echo and even Home Assistant, I was going to need this account. After that, it's time to add the devices. The app prompts you through the setup, and after a minute or so, I had both of the devices set up in the app. I initially added them as 2 separate devices before I realized that you could add them as a group, which is going to work better in the long run. After that, installing them on the actual curtain rods was as easy as just slipping them on the rods. At first, I didn't pay attention to orientation, but once I got to the calibration stage, I realized that orientation does matter if you want the movement of those robots to be in sync with the visual animations in the app. For this, you're going to want the USB port facing the window. Switchbot does have different robots for different curtain hardware, so before purchasing your robots, you're going to want to make sure that you get the one specific for your curtain hardware. If you have telescoping rods like I do, Switchbot provides a little piece of metal that can help smooth out that bump. But in my setup, I found that it didn't work too well. I suspect that was a poor installation on my part, but either way, I found it easier just to set up the center point to be slightly off-center so the robots didn't have to mess with that bump. Calibration of these devices is pretty easy, but it did take a couple of tries to get it dialed in. Since I didn't want to have to remove these devices to charge the batteries ever so often, I installed the solar panels. The obvious way to set these up is just to plug the solar panels into the USB port on the robot. But based on where my rod is mounted, those solar panels wouldn't be able to see the sun. So in that case, you can open up the back of the robot and uncoil the cable, enabling you to mount these solar panels in a different position. I used the included Velcro to mount these solar panels to the curtain, and since my curtains are black and the solar panels are black, they're hard to see from the street. But you do get enough cable that you should be able to mount these wherever you need to. Okay, as I mentioned, you don't need the Switchbot Hub for basic use. And by basic, I mean just controlling your curtains with the Switchbot app on your phone, which does have the ability to do basic automations. Switchbot calls these scenes. But if you want to connect these devices to your Amazon Echo or your Google Home so that you can have voice control, you're going to need the hub. Installing the hub was pretty easy. Just plug in the hub and follow the prompts in the app. I updated the name of mine and provided my Wi-Fi credentials. After that, you can add your Switchbot curtains to your voice assistants using the skills you find in those respective apps. After linking those assistants with your Switchbot account, you now have voice control, which is probably going to be one of the primary ways you use these devices. With Home Assistant, these devices can be integrated locally, without the need of the hub, using the built-in Switchbot integration. The only issue there is that integration is somewhat limited, and depending on the platform you're using to run Home Assistant, you may need some additional hardware to connect these devices. If you're using a Raspberry Pi 4, then you should already have Bluetooth built in. If you're using Home Assistant Blue, then you're going to need a Bluetooth dongle, like this TP-Link UB400 that I got off of Amazon. There's an affiliate link for it in the description of this video, although I wouldn't suggest buying one just for these devices, at least not until you see the other ways to integrate these with Home Assistant. But in terms of adding Bluetooth to your Home Assistant platform, all it takes is plugging this dongle into a USB port, although I would suggest using an extension cable if possible. Since the Switchbot integration is built in, you can add it using the integration panel under your configuration menu. Here you just search for Switchbot, and when you add it, it should see your Switchbot devices, as long as your Home Assistant platform has Bluetooth support. Again, I have my Switchbot curtains configured as a single device, yet this built-in integration sees them just as two separate entities, which is another issue with this built-in integration. Adding it requires you to log in to connect to the local device. This login is the same as your Switchbot account. But once that's done, the devices will be in Home Assistant and ready to use. The issue here though is that there's not just one button to press to open it by default. You would have to push this button multiple times to get it to fully open, since it only moves a little bit with each button press. But we can solve that if we use the API. This of course means that we're going to be going through a cloud service, since a cloud service is what's hosting the API. But in this case, the integration is much better using that cloud-based service than just connecting to these devices locally. Of course, the risk to using a cloud-based API is that Switchbot could change how that API functions, which then breaks your integration. But even in that case, all you've lost is the ability to use the API. You could still connect to these devices locally and use this built-in integration. Not to mention, if you have an Echo, you still have your voice commands. So I think in terms of risk with using this cloud-based API, it's pretty low. Worst case scenario is you have to use one of the other methods that you already have built for connecting to these devices. So you might as well use that cloud-based API as long as it works. To go the API route, I just followed a post over on the Home Assistant forum. There's a link to that post and thread in the description of this video, but don't worry, I'm going to walk you through it. To use the API, you need an API token, and for this one, you get it through the Switchbot app. Just head over to Preferences and then click on App Version 10 times. This will enable the super secret developer menu, and in here, you'll be able to get an API token. You're going to want to save this somewhere because you're going to need it later. Next, you need a device ID. If you have your Switchbot curtain devices defined as a single entity in the Switchbot app, you'll just need one device ID. To get this device ID though, we need to use the API. The easiest method for doing that is probably using the curl command, which you would do from a command line either on the Mac or Windows. But if you have the SSH add-on already set up on your Home Assistant instance, then we can do all of this from our Home Assistant instance. Just SSH into your Home Assistant instance and then run this curl command. You're going to want to replace the API key here with your actual API key before you hit enter. But when you execute this, you'll get a list of all of your Switchbot devices in JSON format. Here, we just need to find the device name for the Switchbot entity as it's defined in our Switchbot app. And next to that, you should see a device ID. This is what you want to copy and save as well. Once we get that ID though, it's time to do some YAML. I created a Switchbot package in my configuration, just in case you wanted to download that and drop it in your packages folder, if you use packages. I've included a link in the description to that file on my GitHub repo. If you're not using packages, you're going to want to split this up between multiple files. You have 3 parts to add. The first one is the rest command. This sets up a reusable command that could be used to send different commands to the Switchbot API. Just copy this to your configuration.yaml or the Switchbot package. The only change you need to make here is this authorization line. I'm using secrets.yaml to store it since I share my config on GitHub. If you're not sharing your config, you could just save it here, like this commented out line. Next, copy this sensor and put it in your sensor.yaml, or under the sensor heading in your configuration.yaml Switchbot package. This sensor provides Home Assistant with the current state of your device. You'll need to make some updates here. Update the entity name to something that makes sense to you. For reference, you need the status URL. The URL will look like this commented out line. Just change your device ID to the actual device ID you grabbed from the API. If you're using secrets.yaml, you could just save that URL there and reference it here like I did. Use the same authorization line you used in the rest command. And lastly, you'll need this cover entity. This sets up the main functionality of these devices and enables you to click a button or use an automation to control your curtain robots. This one can go in your cover.yaml file or under the cover heading in your configuration.yaml or Switchbot package. Here you have a few lines to update as well. Update the entity name and the friendly name. Make sure the sensor name in the position template matches the name of the sensor you set up in the previous step. Then put the device ID on the lines labeled device ID. Again, you can either hard-code it here or use the secrets file. After that, restart Home Assistant. When it comes back up, you'll have a new sensor entity and a cover entity in Home Assistant, and you can start automating your curtains. But as I teased in the opening of this video, there's another way, and it's a capability I bet you don't know exists. And of course, if the API becomes no longer available or some functionality there breaks, you can always use this method as a way to integrate these devices with Home Assistant. Just to keep things simple in this section, I'm going to assume that you've already set up these Switchbot devices in an Amazon Echo. If you've seen some of my recent videos, we've already talked about how to trigger Amazon Echo routines using Home Assistant. And if you're like me, you were probably already thinking about that method as you watched this video. After all, if these Switchbot devices are already set up in an Amazon Echo, why not skip the YAML copy pasta and jump right into automating the boring stuff? The only issue here is that you can't actually build a routine to control these devices, because at least on my Echo, these Switchbot devices don't show up as devices. The entire integration happens in the skill via voice commands. But the secret sauce here is that we don't actually need a routine to be able to integrate these devices with Home Assistant. Using the Amazon Media Player integration from Hacks, we could build a Home Assistant automation or script that when triggered silently issues a command to one of our Amazon Echoes. The action needed to add this to an automation or script looks like this. We call the Media Player Play Media Service. Media Content ID is our voice command minus the Echo trigger word, and Media Content Type is custom. For Entity ID, we can use any of our Echoes. Now, when this action executes, the Echo will trigger just as if we had said that command out loud. The only downside to using this method is that we're going to get a confirmation tone on the Echo that we used. But this method works really well, and it requires no YAML configuration changes on the Home Assistant side, other than adding that action to an automation or script. And this method will work with any command that you could give an Amazon Echo, which makes it quite useful if you want to integrate Amazon-specific skills into Home Assistant. But we're going to get into that more in a future video. If you want to support SlackerLabs and our mission to help you automate the boring stuff, you can find links to the official SlackerLabs t-shirt store in the description of this video. There you can get some of the t-shirts I wear in these videos printed on demand specifically for you. Or you can let me know that you found value in this video by clicking that like button. And consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already for more smart home content like this. As always, thanks for taking time out of your home automation projects to watch mine. Until next time, go automate the boring stuff.